What's up, book besties? Welcome to another episode of She's All Books, where we dive into the raddest reads that will totally blow your mind. Grab your favorite drink, kick back, and let's chat all things books. Because life's too short for boring stories. Ready? Let's get this book party started. Welcome to this episode of She's All Books. Book besties, here with me today for this episode is author MJ Huxley. MJ, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to dive in. I can't wait for readers to connect with you and those viewers who might not be familiar with you and your books to have access to learn more about you and to hopefully click in the captions and connect with you on social media and with your books. I know that you have a book about to release this week called Beauty Beneath the Sorrow. And we're going to dive in, having fun with our nostalgic games during this episode. But before we start, can you give your elevator pitch or overview of the book for those who might be new to this book, just so they have an idea of what we're talking about as we dive in deeper along with?
Absolutely. So the Tangerine Sky series follows 4 flight attendants and they're all best friends. It kind of has like Sex in the City vibes. They're strong females. The third book, Beauty Beneath the Sorrow, follows Lena. She is one of the flight attendants. She's a little bit more of a firecracker. She's kind of stubborn, very sure of herself, which is awesome. It really leans into that strong female. But she develops a relationship with her dad's best friend. So there's some age gap, sneaking around, and things can get kind of tricky, especially when them just spending time with each other gets a little deeper.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's a bunch of like tropes and micro tropes that I absolutely obsess over and get excited to find, like the dad's best friend trope and just like the sneaking around in general, like something about that adrenaline rush that you get when reading it is just so fun to get caught up in. So I can't wait to read it. I cannot wait for the viewers and listeners to connect with it. So without further ado, are you ready for a round of Paper Fortune Teller?
Yes, I'm so excited.
Awesome. All right, so this is like I get like super giddy and excited over this. I don't know why. Like I think it's like partially therapeutic or something for me. For those of you who are watching and you're not familiar, I always give a little spiel. If you are familiar, fast forward. But this is a paper doodad that a lot of us millennials would play with when we were would play with when we were younger. I put a little bit of a spin on it to make it a little bit book related and to guide my questions that I have for MJ. So each of the 8 numbers inside correspond with a question that I have for MJ. Some of these are questions that I just out of curiosity am dying to know. And then there's a few in here that my Bookstagram or Instagram followers submitted. So I'm going to sprinkle some of those in here as well. And yeah, we're just going to have fun and dive in. And it's not perfect. Sometimes I might have to like fudge and move it a little bit to get to the ones that are left, but it's fun nonetheless. Monica, MJ, what did you call this when you were younger? Do you remember?
I don't.
Some people say cootie catcher. Other people say
yes.
It was?
Okay. Yes, cootie catchers. Yes.
I was always curious, like which one. I feel like it's regional. I grew up East Coast, and it was Paper Fortune Teller. But a lot of people who I talked to who are like Midwest and West United States, they refer to it as a cootie catcher. So I'm always interested to see what people called it.
California. So yeah, I remember.
Yes, yeah. Everyone I've talked to in California or who grew up in California called it the cootie catcher. In fact, author Daisy Jane is the one who first corrected me. She was like, that is a cootie catcher, and she's in California. And I'm like, oh, a Paper Fortune Teller for me. So on the outside, our colors are yellow, orange, pink, or green. And you get to pick pink. All right. Pink. It's hard to see on the screen. Your number options are 1, 2, 5, or 6. It's not pretty.
I'm going to say 2.
All right. Question number 2. Okay. I think this is going to be like the hardest of the questions for you. Sorry. Sorry to start off with that. I dropped my. All right, we're good. For question number 2, what are 3 things that readers might not know about you?
One thing that I did not come from like publishing or like reading world. I actually came from education, and that's where majority of my career was spent until just the last couple years when I had my son. And I decided to take some time off when he went to kindergarten. I've always wanted to write, and so I thought, wow, like what a great time in my life to be able to try and do it and share the stories. So it is not something that I initially started with. It was something that kind of found me, which is really cool.
That is awesome.
And then another thing, I do not eat sushi.
Okay.
I do not eat any.
The concept is like a no-go for you. Is there like something particular about it?
I just don't like seafood. I don't
Okay,
eat
you
like
my husband, the both of you, yes.
Yeah, it's so interesting when I tell people that because it's such a common thing that people eat sushi and they love it. And my husband too, I mean, he probably eats sushi like 3 times a week with like coworkers and stuff. He loves it. And so it's just rare to find somebody who just doesn't like seafood at all. So
no. One time the sushi restaurant we go to has like a steak roll and it's like cooked steak and it's like just pretty much steak and rice rolled up in a sushi roll, and he ate it like after I like had to force him, just like he's like so beyond the concept, it was like a no for him, but I was like, now you've had sushi and we can say you've had it, but it was like steak and rice.
Yeah.
What is your third thing?
Let me think. Something else. I feel like this is kind of a question like, you know, something like where it's like those personal questions. It's like, tell us something that you know.
I know. It's like those annoying like college icebreakers that you have to do on like the first day of class. It's like so annoying. But the funny thing about this question, the reason I haven't cut it out yet, is readers or viewers are like, oh my gosh, I connected with so-and-so and it made me like want to go to their book. It's like they find that connection. Something about you that I didn't know that you've already shared a little bit of is that you grew up in California. That could be your third thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I did grow up in California. I grew up a little outside of Los Angeles. And it's interesting, actually. My husband and I grew up within like 25 minutes of each other in Los Angeles. And then both moved out to Arizona to go to college and met here in Arizona in college. And it was just such a small world that, both of our families like went to competing high schools, and it's just such a small world.
That's crazy. Yeah. That is such a cool story. See, there's your third thing. That is perfect. Awesome. Very neat. You have like, I see people on like Instagram making those like the tropes of their relationship posts. Like yours would be a very cute one to do. You should do that. Where it's like you post like, I don't know, all the tropes that would apply to you and your husband. It sounds like you have some really cute ones. All right. Very nice. Well, the hard one is over. That is the hardest question, I think, on this paper, fortune teller or cootie catcher. You might be able to correct me and tell me there's a harder one. So, pink, green, orange, or yellow?
I think I'll do yellow this time. Yellow's like a happy color.
Perfect. IELLOW. All right.
7. Question
7. All right. So this question was interesting and submitted by an Instagrammer. They noticed that on a lot of the covers in this series, you have a drink on them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they wanted to know if you have, or what your favorite drink is.
Oh, I love this question. So I am a big wine drinker. I absolutely love Chardonnay. Before my husband and I had kids, we used to travel. We'd go to Napa. We went to like all the different wine countries around California. So I am such a big wine drinker. I love it. So that's probably my favorite drink, and that is in the second book, Piper, she's a wine drinker, and that the setting of that book is in wine country. So that was like kind of cool for me to write about that.
That is awesome. I also love the name Piper. That's such a good name.
It's so cute, right?
It is such a cute name. And I feel like I don't know any Pipers in real life. I love that name. Awesome. I also love a glass of wine. All right. Yellow, orange, green, or pink?
Let's do green this time.
Green. All right. Green. And we have, okay, 1, 2, 5, or 6. And you already answered question 2. So 1, 5, or 6. 5. All right. Question number 5. We're starting to ease our way into the writing questions and authoring questions. What is your most favorite part of the writing process and why? That shouldn't have been a tongue twister, but it was. So what are your favorite parts of the writing process?
I actually love this question. My favorite part of the writing process is the second draft. And
Okay.
because I just kind of power through that first draft, you get all your thoughts out, and it's just kind of this big conjumbled mess, right? And then that second draft is where the magic happens. You get to kind of really dive into each chapter and figure out how to enrich that chapter, how to make the scenes deeper. And I absolutely love it. And my second draft, I read all the way through as well. So it's kind of cool to see the progression of the story. And yeah, 100% second draft is my favorite.
That is awesome. I have a sub question. I'm going to throw in a little bonus question, selfishly. Are you a pantser or a plotter when you plan out the writing process?
I am a pantser.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
so then that second draft is kind of like you just said, but also very important to like make sure everything is meshing and no plot holes and stuff, because you're kind of just running with it, right? Like when you're writing the first draft, it's just kind of flowing how the ideas are like in your head. Is that a good assumption?
Yes, exactly. So it's hard for me to write something that I'm not feeling. So if I'm like feeling sad or emotional that day, I can sit down and write a really sad or emotional scene. If I'm, feeling like fun and like, I'm having a great day and just kind of goofy, it's fun to write banter. And so, and then also like scenes come to me at the most random times. And so I kind of write them almost like different puzzle pieces. And then that second draft comes together and I can kind of put the entire puzzle together at that point. And that's really cool to see for me, is to see all of these different scenes now create like a whole story. And I really like that. I see a lot of really good character development in that as well. But this teaser for the fourth book, I had to actually write in order for the fourth book, which was good, but it was also challenging for me at the same time, just because of the events of the book. I had to make sure that they absolutely.
God, that would be so hard. I feel like the timeline piece would be like the most stressful for me if I were writing. So once again, if you're tuning into this episode, the Beauty Beneath the Sorrow, book 3 in this series, is coming out this week on September 20th. And then do we have a date for book 4 yet, or no? Like not even close?
So tentatively the first week of February.
Okay, so we're looking at winter. Perfect. Yeah. So it's not that long of a wait at all, like between the books, potentially.
Yeah, I'm writing it right now and it's been amazing. Awesome. It's so much fun.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, well, I will stop asking all these bonus questions and I will get back to the paper fortune teller. All right. Orange, green, pink, or yellow?
Orange.
Orange. All right. Orange. And your number options are, I just totally switched it. Never mind. Oh my gosh. Okay. Your number options are 2, 5, or 6. You've already answered 2 and 5. So 1 or 6 is what's left.
I'll do 6.
Question number 6. All right. So we talked a little bit about the tropes that are in The Beauty Beneath the Sorrow that comes out this week. We have Dad's best friend. Any other tropes or micro tropes that you can share with those listening to this episode?
Yes. Hurt comfort. There's a flashback in this book that is pretty tricky, and it causes a lot of, it basically created Lena for who she is today, and so you kind of see that in a flashback, and she has to move through the book, and so
so there's some like healing, some development there. She definitely gets, you mentioned strong female characters, which I know for me at least, like that's like a trope, a micro trope, whatever it is, that I love. So I love a strong female lead character. That's a very exciting one.
Thank you. Yeah. And then he falls first.
Okay.
He is like obsessed. Like, yes. So that's super fun. I'm excited for readers to experience.
Love that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very nice. That's exciting. If you're watching this episode or listening to this episode, let us know in the comments which of those tropes or micro tropes are ones that you are really excited about or you love to read about. All right. Ready for the next one?
I am.
Oh, it stuck to my shirt. All right. Orange, green, yellow, or pink?
Let me go back to pink.
Pink. All right. I think if I did like a statistic, I think pink is the first one that probably 80% of guests choose on this show.
It's the best color.
And also like my pink butterfly chair.
Exactly. I love that color.
Still broken lava lamp. It's okay. We're going to get it fixed. Okay. PINK. Again, 1, 2, 5, or 6. The only number remaining in this cluster is question number 1. Would you like to answer question 1?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So this is what I mean was like our spin on Paper Fortune Teller. Clearly not how it's intended. Okay. I love this question. It's technically a fill in the blank, but you can take it wherever you want. And the question is, my ideal book boyfriend is blank. It can be descriptive. It can be an actual book boyfriend, like however you want to take this. What is your ideal book boyfriend? It could be one you wrote. It doesn't matter. Up to you.
Do you want a name of one or just like his characteristics?
I like characteristics personally. Like I love to see what people are like looking for in their book boyfriends, but you can throw out names. It's up to you.
My ideal book boyfriend is secure, unapologetic, and who is not afraid of a strong, successful woman. Yes. And then who is kind and sweet and soft, but then behind closed doors is a little bit more like take charge.
I love it. Awesome. Do you feel like you incorporate a lot of those characteristics into the book male characters? I can't talk today. I'm so sorry. Book main male characters that you write?
Yes, absolutely. I think they all have different characteristics, but they're all like the ones that stick out are so much more prominent with each one of them, and then they're different with those. So the first book, Light Behind the Lies, Mason is like, he's like that. He's very straightforward, unapologetic. He's a reformed playboy, and readers seem to love him. And so I haven't been able to write a character like him the rest of the series, but my next series, I'll definitely be able to write another one like that. But he just talked to me in a different way, I guess.
Okay, I'm laughing, and if you're listening and not watching this, you're probably like, what is going on? I'm only laughing because there's a book I read. Okay, I have not read that book of yours, but now like I'm probably going to read it tomorrow because there's a book series I read like years ago. I don't even know how many, a long time ago. And there was like a side character that's like barely really talked about. And his name was Mason. And he was like this playboy, blah, blah, blah. And it was like such a little teeny tiny piece to this like other story. Mm-hmm. And I've always said, oh man, I really wish that this author would write a book about Mason, the playboy, who's like this like very whatever, and it's never gonna happen. Like she's never gonna write it, whatever. It's totally fine. But now I'm like, maybe this is why I was just like needing yours. Like I need your Mason, and I think like that just like was such a weird, surreal. Oop! It just kicked my thing. Moment for me. So I know what I'm doing tomorrow. That's very exciting.
He's fun.
That is awesome. I'm
But
excited.
I didn't have to like he was the easiest character out of every single character.
Really?
Oh yeah. He was so easy to write, like just completely clear. It's
Well,
crazy.
since I'm on a roll of asking you questions that are not in the paper fortune teller, this used to be on my paper fortune teller, but I got a lot of authors who did not love it because it's not an easy one to answer. But do you have a favorite character you've written? Or are they like your children and there are no favorites, which is what I always would get the answer from the authors. Like, I don't have a favorite. They're all my favorite. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll be real.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily look at them like my children.
Right.
Just because I write some really steamy scenes. And I feel like I write my MMCs to have the qualities that I feel like as a woman, like I like and enjoy. So,
right.
I can't look at them that way, but yeah, my favorite, it's probably going to be Mason for the guy. And then probably Lena in the third book that just comes out, this week.
So this and Beauty Beneath the Sorrow.
Yeah, she is just I love how she's stubborn, but yet in this like secure way. Like she has so much self-agency, and I love that so much. That was so as far as like the girls go, out of all 4 girls so far. Yeah, she's great.
That is awesome. Thank you for answering that question. I'm just getting lots of bonus questions from you tonight. I am so sorry about that, but I'm secretly so excited. All right. Yellow, orange, green, or pink?
I'll do green again.
Green. All right. And those who are watching, you're welcome for all these extra questions. All right. GREEN. And we've already answered all of those. So this is what I mean. I'm going to fudge it a little bit. And 3, 4, 7, or 8. You've already answered question 7. So 3, 4, or 8.
3.
3. All right. Question number 3. Okay. So in Beauty Beneath the Sorrow, I'm trying to word this in a way that's not like spoiler alert, because I don't want you to have to give me spoilers. Beginning, middle, and end of the book. Which part of the book was your favorite to write? I had to tweak this one a little bit because it's not out yet.
I'm gonna say so tricky. I'm gonna say
the end. Okay.
Because I feel like I really gave them the ending that they deserved, and it's a little unconventional from what you would. It's still an HEA, but it's on their terms, which I love. So that's my favorite.
That is awesome. So it was the end of the book for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Now I'm dying to know what happens at the end. I can't wait. All right. Green, orange, yellow, or pink?
I'll do orange.
Orange. All right. ORANGE. And your number.
All the flashbacks too. I love it. Like, you're gonna marry so and so. Like, do you remember that?
I need to make a new one. This one is like so worn out, and I'm like, oh, it's my lucky little one. For 3, 4, 7, or 8, and you've already answered questions 3 and 7, so you're only left with 4 or 8. 8. All right. Question number 8 is I love this question. What do you hope readers feel when they pick up this book?
I love that question.
You know, it's one of my favorites.
This specific book, I hope that readers, and specifically women, feel that if a single event that happens in their life that they feel like defines them, it doesn't define them. That they actually have the chance to take ownership over themselves and their choices, and that they are worthy of love and finding somebody who will appreciate and love them where they need to be and at the level that they need to be.
I love that. That is awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait for readers to really connect with that, for that to resonate with them. It's like a feeling of empowerment. Like you get to take over the power and be strong, and that's awesome. So I can't wait for to hear and to be able to read it myself, but also to hear what other readers think about it. Shits and giggles. Will you entertain me with one last round of paper fortune teller, even though we know what number you have to pick?
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only question 4 is left, but just for fun. What color? Yellow, pink, green, or orange?
Yellow.
And if you feel like you're shocked there's even one left, it's because I've asked you extras. IELLOW. And would you like to answer question number 4?
I would love question number
4. Awesome. All right. Question number 4. Which scene, and it could be a scene from any book in this series. I almost said trilogy, but there's actually going to be a 4th book, so it's not a trilogy. But is there any scene from these first 3 books that stuck with you the most? And you don't have to get too specific if you can't. Like if it's like, oh, it would be a spoiler alert, then no worries. But if you want to just be like, there's a scene in book 2 or something.
I think that's the most fun. Can I say
yes, anything, anyway. Just a scene that maybe was the most fun to write, or maybe it just stuck with you. Maybe it was the hardest to write and it left an impression, like any scenario.
So the most fun, I think, just because I related to it, and this did not happen to me, but it has crossed my mind on a night in Vegas, having a blast. But in the second book, in Love Beyond the Illusion, they have a wonderful night in Vegas and wake up the next morning married. And that the night, it was so much fun to write because it's like I felt like when I was writing it, you get that rush of like meeting somebody new, and then you're having too many drinks, but you're also having a blast. And it's like you don't want the night to end, so why not let it end, And so I love that one. It's so much fun.
That is awesome. That's a fun, like, it reminds me of like the Ross and Rachel episode in Friends, or like they wake up in Vegas and they're all of a sudden married and she's Mrs. Geller. Like, I love that.
I love that episode. It's so funny. Yes.
That is awesome. Well, thank you for entertaining me with a round of paper fortune teller. That's the first part of this interview, which is so fun and nostalgic for me. So thank you for entertaining me with that. Before we hop into the second part of this episode, I just wanted to clarify for the viewers and listeners of this episode, with the series, it's interconnected series, right? So like if somebody were to pick up this new release, Beauty Beneath the Sorrow, and they haven't read books 1 and 2, is that okay? Or like, are they going to be completely lost? Like, what is your advice for them?
So they can be read independently, but you will get spoilers because the girls are best friends. So they show up, all 4 of them show up in every single book. And then the couples from the other books will just have little cameos. But I mean, if you know that all the books are going to give you an HEA, you kind of are expecting them to end up at some point, back together. But as far as being able to pick up any one of the books and then not understanding the placement, no, absolutely not. They're all like independent stories.
I'm like the biggest fan of like interconnected series, and I feel as if you do read them from the beginning, like book 1 first, then 2, 3, you get more out of it because of those cameos. Like, you're excited to see those characters and that couple make their little appearance in the other books, and like you have some of that like background and history, and you've seen even like the current characters or character, or at least one of them, you've probably seen in an earlier book, so you get a little bit of like a history on them. But it is nice that you can technically like jump into a book at any point and not be like, what's happening? Like, what's going on? I'm completely lost. So It's fun either way. So if you're listening and maybe you're just like, oh my gosh, the tropes in book 3 are just sounding so amazing, I'm just going to hop right into that one. Totally fine, it sounds like. And then you can always go back and read book 1 and 2 and whichever journey you take yourself on. So thank you for helping me understand and to clear that up. Okay, so this part of the episode is more nostalgic games, and this time you get to pick which game you want to play. And so the options are MASH, Two Truths and a Lie, Never Have I Ever, or Truth or Dare. I will be honest. MASH and Two Truths and a Lie are the easier of the two. I get a lot of feedback that the other two are harder to play in this format, but still fun. So whichever direction you want to take it, you get to pick from MASH, Two Truths and a Lie, Truth or Dare, or Never Have. They'll all have like a bookish twist to them.
I'm up for a challenge. Let's do Never Have I Ever.
All right, Never Have I Ever. That's a fun one. So for Never Have I Ever, and I'm going to give a little overview of it just in case people are driving or listening or watching. We're going to do it with 3 fingers instead of 5 because it can go on for quite some time. And for the purposes of not running out of ideas of Never Have I Ever. This is like a fun game we would play. I mean, at least I'm sure it's still played today at parties and stuff like that in college. But the idea of this game, for those who aren't familiar with it, you put up your hand and each finger, you want to be the last person that still has fingers up. So you want to get everybody else's fingers down and you want to be remaining, and then you're the winner. So I would say something like, never have I ever ran in a marathon. Like, that's not bookish related, but for example, if MJ had run in a marathon, she'd put a finger down. If she hadn't, her finger would stay up. For those of you who are listening to this episode and you can't see our fingers, I will do my best of letting you know when somebody puts their finger down. I like to try to keep it bookish related. It doesn't have to be bookish related. That's my little overview. So we'll do 3 fingers, and you are my guest, MJ, so you get to pick. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Can you go first?
Okay, I can go first. And do you need time to think of anything or do you just want to dive in?
For the question?
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe I should go first because I might need a second to think.
Okay, no, yeah, we can either way. I can wait until we think of a couple or we can dive in. It's up to you. Okay, let's take a second and write some down.
Okay, I have 2. Do we need?
We'll probably have to wing it because I only could think of really one new one. I don't want to keep repeating ones I've done on other episodes. Okay. We'll go with it. Okay, so do you want me to do it first or do you want to go first?
Do you want to ask the question first?
Yeah, I can ask. That's fine. Yeah. I'll do my statement. Never have I ever read a book series that was written by more than one author, like co-authors. I've only read series written by.
So if you
have read, yes, if you have read a series that's written by more than one author, like they're co-writing it, then you have to put your finger down. Okay. All right. So we both still have our fingers up, all fingers remaining, and it's your turn.
Okay. Never have I ever bought a whole series without reading the first book first. So without reading book 1 first, you buy the whole series.
My camera. No, I have never. I've never done that. Unless you tell me what is going on with my camera? Sorry if you're watching that. I'll try my best to edit that out. I'm in focus now. Unless sometimes you download, if it's like a Kindle book, you'll download it and it'll have like the whole series together. You know what I'm talking about? Like it'll have like sometimes. So does that count? I think that counts. Maybe I put a finger down. I think that counts.
In my mind, I was thinking physical copy.
Then no, I have not done that. Not yet. No. I'm not that I would never.
Yeah.
But I've not done that yet. All right. Never. I don't want this to be like a low blow. Never have I ever named a character after someone I know. It's a guess. I don't know if you have. Okay. I don't want to sound like I'm targeting you. I really have no idea if you have done that or not.
I did. Yeah.
Okay. So MJ put her first finger down, so she has 2 fingers remaining, and I have 3. Are you able to tell us which character, or can you not tell us which character? Okay. It's a secret. It's a secret. We can make our own guesses in our head, but it's a secret. I respect that.
It's a tricky side character, so.
Okay, got it.
Mhm.
All right, your turn.
Okay. Never have I ever bought a book just based on the cover.
I have to put a finger down for that one for sure. I am such a cover chooser. Like I sucker for a cover. Like I don't know what it is about it. Your covers look amazing. I'm
Oh,
like
thank you.
I just love covers. Yeah, that's me. Okay. So we both have 2 fingers remaining.
Yeah.
All right. Never have I ever, this just got hard because I just like, I don't want to keep making writer comments because that's not fair to you. Never have I ever, why if I said that? Okay, never have I, no. Yes? Yes? I didn't think you were going to put a finger down. And I have nothing against sponsors, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to read. I don't even know what one is. So I'm always telling the viewers and listeners, drop your recs in the comments. I'll read it. I just have never read one yet.
Oh my gosh. So I follow a larger book content creator, and I mean, I followed her for like a really long time. And so she always posts stuff about like, monster romances. And so one day I was like, I'm going to just go in and see which authors that she's recommending. And I did, and I read a couple of them from a really known author that, and they're actually, it's just, it's very creative. And I really appreciate the creative side of it.
Yes.
And
I have a friend who like, that's like the only thing she reads. And I'm like, that's awesome. Like that, I might become obsessed if I read it. Like, I don't know. I just need a rec.
I got you.
Okay, thanks. You can DM it to me.
Yes. Yeah. I like to read all types of romance. Like
me too. I have zero. There's nothing that I won't read. It's just honestly like I don't know where to start with, and I want a recommendation. Like, and then I'll be on my own little way.
Yes, Oh yeah. It's like a whole different world. It's cool.
Right.
It's cool, though.
That's what I hear. Okay. Yeah. Good to know. All right. So MJ has 1 finger remaining. I have 2, and it's your turn.
Oh, it's my turn. Okay. So I'm gonna take off my writer author hat for a second because now I'm just a reader.
Okay.
Never have I ever DNF'd.
Okay, I have DNF'd, but I like to give this little spiel. I am a hardcore mood reader. So if I DNF a book, it doesn't mean I'm not going to ever go back and finish it. It might just be like I'm reading it and I'm just like in this like weird mood where I need a total asshole male character and I'm not getting it. So I might DNF it and then like I'll probably come back to it when I'm back in the mood, if that makes sense. But I have to put a finger down. Like I do that, but I come back. I come back to it. I'm not DNFing it because like I like to always see how a book ends.
Yes,
and
me
so
too.
it stay on my mind. I usually revisit it, but there's a couple sitting on my Kindle right now where it's like I might not have been in the mood yet for it, but I know I'm going to be in the mood to finish it. So
yes, that's totally the same. I will take a break. That's what I call it. I'm like, I'm gonna take a break from this one and come back because I'm a mood reader too.
Yeah.
But it bothers me if it's not completed. Like I just have to see the end of the story.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'm the same way. Yeah. All right. Okay, here's one. Never have I ever left a 1-star review. Your face. If you're listening, you can't see her face, but her eyes got really big right then. And she put a finger down. That's okay.
Okay, so I need to explain. I've been a reader for a really, really, really long time. As an author, honestly, I would never do it. I would just not review at all. But back in the day when I was just a reader, I have before. And so now and now that I'm an author, I'm like, I couldn't do it. I just did not do it now. But like I said, back in the day, it was not often at all, but
I feel like though, like a couple years ago, like it was very much like people got their, not recognition, but like that's what people looked for. They wanted to see like that you were reviewing books and all different like stars and like you're giving very, very honest reviews. Not that we're not giving honest reviews now, but I am really good at picking books I know I'm going to like. And at this point I've read for so long, and you probably can say the same thing as well, that I personally have never given a 1-star review or a 2, and shocking, I've never given a 3. Like I'm really good at choosing,
Yeah.
And I wasn't always good at choosing. I just wouldn't have I just didn't leave a review if I didn't love a book.
Yeah.
I've gotten so much hate for that though. So like me saying that's probably gonna generate a lot of hate. And one time I said that on a TikTok one time. I was like,
or me, because I'm an
yeah.
author. I just do it as an author. This was.
I'll say this: everyone has their own review style. Reviewing is also very subjective. Personally, and I say this all the time on this show. And this is not like, I mean, we can all have conflicting opinions on this. Like, I feel like so many people are like, that's wrong. But I would really like it if it was just like a thumb up if you liked the book. Yeah. And then like, not even a thumb down if you didn't, just like a thumb up, and you don't even click if you don't like the book. Like, I don't know why. Like, I just feel like it's gotten so complicated with reviews. That's my only spiel. It's okay. We can all have our own style.
It was so long. It was so long ago. I still remember the book.
Yeah.
So, but typically, no, I never remember doing it. It was just like that. But one time, and I don't think I left an actual like text review. I think it was just the star. And then I remember I was part of a book club at this time. This was years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember telling them in the book club how much guilt that I had, that I almost went back and deleted it because I felt so guilty. And they were like, no, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, this author had, thousands and thousands and thousands. So, it made no difference, but I have not done it since because I just started to feel all this guilt about doing it. Yeah. So, I just won't do now going forward. I just don't, that was a long time ago.
No, I think that everyone like has their own rating style. And I think that's great. And to be honest, I don't even look at any reviews that are like under a 4-star review because I'm always looking at books. I'm like, I want to see why readers loved that book. Like, I want to know I want to know if that resonates with me. Like, I don't know. Like, so I'm always like just looking at the good reviews. I never look at the negative reviews because just because somebody doesn't like it doesn't mean I'm not going to like it. So I'm always like focusing on those like 5-star reviews and maybe the 4, but I want to know why people are like obsessed with a book. So I feel like those are the reviews that are like super helpful for readers.
Yeah. In the past, I have picked up, and like I said, I'm talking like, I've been a reader for a long time. So
yeah,
I'm talking like years ago, I've picked up books just based on the fact that they have 1 stars. Like a 1-star review. I've been like, and they're like, the ones that say like, I wish I could get the 5 hours of my life back. I'm like, you can have mine. I'll pick it up.
Ones who are like, this book is so, what do they always say? So explicit. I'm like, give it. Or like, like they'll say something like negative, like they'll give a 1-star review because it's like spicy. And I'm like, well, that sounds like a 5-star review for me. Give me that book. Yeah, it's always fun. So I guess I have read some of those reviews, but more so, sometimes authors will like post their 1-star reviews, and I'm always like laughing so hard at some of the things people will say because I'm like, how did you even end up reading this book if you're writing that in your review? Because it's like you ended up on the wrong side of Amazon because like this doesn't sound like something you'd be looking for.
I always put I have like a little author's note at the beginning. Like I don't have like a trigger list, or like a warning or anything. Yeah. But I do have a little author's note that kind of says like, this book is steamy and everybody has their own, chili pepper scale as well. So I just kind of always like to give them a heads up. Or if there's like a topic that's kind of tricky, I always like to put that in there too, just so, because some topics are trickier for other people. Right. And so I always try to give that just so they're not surprised and they're like, oh my gosh, why didn't she tell me that?
Yeah. And then that way you're like saving them time if it's like something that's like so off their interest.
Yeah. I don't want them to read it if they're, if it's not something that they would enjoy or something they would get halfway through and think, oh my gosh, I didn't know that this was going to happen. And then, and then they're sad because now they can't finish it or they just didn't vibe with it. And I don't want that,
Yeah. No. That makes sense. I love that. I like when authors include that at the beginning. Mm-hmm. I personally don't have any triggers really. Like I say that, but like I probably do. I just haven't like learned it yet. Yeah. But I do appreciate when like authors put those like little warnings at the beginning of a book. Yeah.
Mine is like,
well, MJ, it has been such a blast filming this with you and diving in deeper and learning more about this book, the series. Reminder for those of you watching and listening, this book comes out this week, September 20th, so make sure you grab your copy of it. I hope you'll come back on for book 4 when we get closer to that release date, because this is so much fun, and I can't wait for readers to connect with you. And I'm going to include all of the links to your socials and where the listeners and viewers can find your books. But do you mind just sharing with those who are maybe driving or commuting right now, like where are they able to find you? Like what platforms are you on?
I am on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I have a Facebook page. I just started a Facebook readers group that I haven't even published yet, so you guys are the first to hear about it. And then my books can be found at some Barnes and Nobles, specifically here in Arizona. There's a couple that carry it. And then on Amazon and KDP.
Very exciting. And like I said, I'll put all the links so that if you are watching this or listening to this, you're able to just click in the captions and connect with MJ and her books. Thank you again for joining me. This is so much fun. Thanks for answering all of those extra questions and playing some nostalgic games with me. That was such a blast. See you next episode. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.
All right, book besties, that's a wrap on this totally rad episode of She's All Books. If you're digging this vibe, don't be a square. Smash that subscribe button faster than you can say as if. Want to keep the convo going? Hit me up on social media at She's All Books. Drop a comment, share your fave book, or tell me what you want to hear next. I'm all ears. And hey, if you thought this episode was all that, spread the word. Tell your besties, your mom, even that cute barista at the local coffee shop. The more, the merrier. Stay tuned for the next episode, dropping Mondays at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a blast. Until then, keep it real and keep on reading. See ya!